You gotta just chill out, man.
Pittsburgh Steeler fans, welcome back to another episode of the Scho Bro Show. This is Steel Curtain Network's Dave Schofield coming at you Tuesday night, a little bit after 9 p.m. Where else would you rather wallow in your misery as a Steelers fan? And with me, as always, except when he's not, is my big brother Rich, Big Bro Scho. How is it going tonight?
We're not breathing.
We're not breathing.
But I've already been peeking through the live chat, and there's some folks in there that need to also realize that the sky is not falling.
No, the sky is not falling.
Although the sky is falling here right now, it is in the upper 40s in temperature-wise, and we're in the middle of a thunderstorm. So I hope I don't lose you.
Yeah, I actually had some thunder go through a little bit earlier, so that means what's going through to you, I'll probably get 3 hours later, so I might be getting that tonight. Yep. Today was the last day of when I looked at the weather. Where I'm living, it said the high was going to be 71. and for the next 13 days, one time it hit 60. Nothing else is in the 60s. It's all highs in the 50s. Fall is upon us. We are really into this NFL season. We are almost to the halfway point of this season. 18 weeks. You're not through week 9. And that's halfway there. So we're going into week 8. It's going to be really interesting to see. Now, those of you that are here with us, you might have realized that some things are a little bit different, but they're actually back to being more of the same. Notice that people could come in and see that there was a show before we actually started. If you're here on YouTube, it should actually have the name of the show and a description about it. The Big Bro and I weren't on the screen when we first started because I'm trying to get back used to it again. We changed streaming services again back to StreamYard. We finally got a good deal going there that we could do stuff. So if anything technically glitchy goes on, that's because I'm trying to remember what it is I'm doing. But the good news is we should be able to see super chats right now. I haven't tested this theory. We'll find out when someone does one that I should actually be able to see them, where we don't have to follow on our phone and just read them. Not only just see them, we should be able to bring them up on the screen like we used to. So that's good. That's nice. Another thing is we are back to where we could throw a little soundbite in here and there. So I've got to try to be timely with those. All I have to say about that
Challenge accepted.
Okay, so there we go. Just having to test those kind of things out.
That's all right. You were saying that, over the next 10 days, you said what? You were only seeing a high of 60?
Yeah.
And I was going to be, 60?
Yeah.
We're talking about 60?
Yeah, talking about playoff. You know what? I don't know if I have that one on here yet. I was trying to find some of the old stuff. Hey! That's what?
There you go.
There we go.
Thank you, Afton.
It's tested. Afton comes through. $2 into the tip jar, says the offense was fun to watch on last week. Yeah. We are going to talk about last week, but Rich, we have to make a confession. Our confession is this. Afton says, it works. But I got to remember now they don't automatically time out and go away. So that's good. And hopefully we won't have our jumping issues at the end of the show like we've had in the past. Confession, generally Steelers play on Sunday, occasionally Monday. We come in, we roll into Tuesday's show. We don't talk to each other from the game until then. That didn't happen this time because your daughter had a birthday. Your daughter now lives up the street from me. You were in town this weekend to see her for her birthday. So we actually saw each other. We mentioned a couple things. It was on Friday. I don't even remember anymore.
Come on, I got to tell that story. You saw us because Renee and I went down, took Alex out to dinner. Mm-hmm. Then we didn't know what to do. And I said we should go over since it was Alex's birthday, we should go to your house and sing happy birthday to your youngest son, Garrett.
Which is what you did. And I wasn't even there to see it because I was picking up dinner and was on my way home. So
But-
we mentioned a couple things there, but I'll be honest with you. I've talked to so many people that have asked me, what's going on with the Steelers and everything. I can't even remember what it was I said to you. So,
By the way,
Uh-huh.
okay, so you remember that's when I was there, you showed me your tweet that was going viral.
yes,
You realized by the time I got home it had doubled
probably.
from
It
what
was-
you showed it to me at 27,
Oh,
okay? Or whatever. Yeah, 27,000. When I got home it was 55.
yeah. Well, it's doubled to that now. I think it's 110.
I know. I
Nine the last I saw it. I don't know.
I was showing one of my Steeler fan coworkers that yesterday, and actually, Dave, that tweet deserved a lot of views
Yeah.
because when I showed it to my coworker, he was just like, "Wow,
Yeah. Let's talk
fascinating."
about that. And honestly, and I'm gonna go into it a little bit more even on Pittsburgh Standard Time Thursday morning, because I'm gonna go into some of the reaction to that and some of the reaction to some other things there, just from a fan perspective. Well, I mean, we'll dip into some of it here. But for those of you, well, before I say what the tweet was, I do have to say, still wasn't like Jeff's tweet. Jeff put a tweet out in order to do his show Monday for Let's Ride. About, hey, give me some positives with the Steelers. That thing blew up. It had more views than mine did. Tons of comments, tons of people put in stuff. And of course, what do Steeler fans have to do? They have to try to take a negative thing and state it as a positive just so they can be their ho-hum trolling things that they do. So, but there was a lot of positives from that game. But my tweet that I put out was actually, what's crazy is I put it out before the game.
Yeah,
But when did it blow up? It blew up
after the game. Mhm.
because of what happened during the game. And some of you have probably seen it that are listening or watching here live or anything now. It was all I did was I listed the home and away records of the AFC North on Thursday night. Not necessarily divisional games, all games back since 2002 when the AFC North was formed. When really, like the Steelers didn't have any games until 2006. 2007 is when they really kicked in on Thursday night. The Steelers had 2 games on 2006. They were both at, I think they were both at home, and they won them both. I can tell you that. Yeah, because they started the season against Cleveland, or not against Cleveland, against Miami, and then in December they played Cleveland on a Thursday. But I went back and just said, look at the entire division. The AFC North is just insane with how good they are at home and how awful they are on the road on Thursday night. Most other divisions are the same. The AFC West is backwards. Sorry, I said AFC. I messed it up again. I did this somewhere else. NFC West is backwards. They are the ones that are backwards. So all I did was point out going into the game, and this was the number. Then someone wanted to say, hey, well, aren't they really 2-10? I'm like, I put the tweet out before the game. They were 2-9 on the road going into the game. But honestly, the Steelers record, if you combine the Browns away record on Thursday nights and the Bengals away record on Thursday nights, they're almost the same. The Steelers are 2-10. The Browns and Bengals combined are 2-11. The Ravens are, I think they're 2-6 or 2-7. So I can't even remember right now. They haven't played nearly as many away games. But these teams are almost unbeatable at home in the AFC North, including the Steelers. But they don't win on the road.
On Thursday nights.
On Thursday nights.
Yes.
Because of the short week, I had some people that were, and this was in an article at SteelCurtainNetwork.com saying, well, both teams have to play on a short week. And I've explained, no, they do. You're right. But you lose a day to travel because of the way the NFL does everything. So it is what it is. I predicted that the Steelers were going to lose this game when the schedule came out. I thought they were going to lose this game through the first several weeks of the season. What changed my mind to make me think that maybe they could win it was when they won in week 3 and week 4.
When they won in week 3 and week 4, and how poorly Cincinnati had been playing.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to be honest with you. I think Coach Tomlin's words criticizing Cleveland about trading Joe Flacco to Cincinnati did not do any good for either his team or his opponent. I think that really worked. He was right. He was right. He was right. But it didn't do him any good. It actually worked against him, I think.
Yeah, and in my opinion, what ended up happening when it came to the Steelers' defense versus the Bengals' offense, that bothered Coach Tomlin so much that he fell prey to the old saying.
Yeah.
He overthought it.
Yes, and that's what I'm saying. And I'm not saying that even the player. I mean, part of it, I think, was his own coaching staff.
Yes, they overthought what to do with the Bengals offense then.
Yeah.
And it showed.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how many of you are listen to our audio only podcasts. If you don't, you're really missing out on stuff. I love my show I do with Greg Benevit Thursday mornings, Pittsburgh Standard Time. It's so much fun. You're missing Let's Ride if you don't do that Monday, Wednesday, Friday, no offense to us, Rich. That's the best show on the network. Let's Ride is my favorite show. That's mine. Just me. But here we go, the Steelers show on Monday with Brian Anthony Davis and Coach KT Smith. KT, I'm the one who actually put something out there in the Slack channel, and KT read it, talked about it on the show, and went with it. And if you listen to that show, KT summed it up well. And there's so many. I had one guy that when I called it out, this was on one like Jeff's tweets. I thought it was on my tweet. Here it was on Jeff's. I called out that someone came up with a solution of what the Steelers needed to do. They needed to play man-to-man and run the ball at the end of the game to take clock, to run down the clock, and they would have won. I pointed out where, you know what? That's actually what the Steelers did, and it didn't work. Because the next to last possession that the Steelers had, what did they do on first and second down? They ran the ball.
Yep.
They were left with 3rd and 4. They didn't convert, and they had to punt. Some people thought that wasn't wise to punt in that situation. And I get how you could think that because the Steelers hadn't really stopped the Bengals for so long. But if you go for it there and you don't get it, you just turned a 1-score game into a 2-score game because they're in field goal range.
Right.
So they tried to run the ball. Then on the next drive, they threw it on first down, which was no problem with throwing on first down. They got a penalty on second down. They're sitting there with 2nd and 20. Are they supposed to run the ball there? We would have lost our collective minds if they would have ran the ball on 2nd and 20.
Yeah.
Instead, they were trying to get the ball down the field. What did they do on 2nd and 20? 68-yard touchdown.
Yeah.
And people were complaining they should have been running there to run down the clock. It was 2nd and 20. What else were they supposed to do? Yeah. I see a super chat. I'll get to it a little bit because that's going to bring it up. Then it's about the defense. They needed to play more man. The defense and other people that were saying, oh, the Steelers needed to change up their defense. No. The problem was they were trying to do too many different things.
They overthought it.
And that's why I say Coach Tomlin saying that about Joe Flacco and everything. They the Steelers, because it was a short week, they threw so much at what they could possibly do. They didn't do anything well. So, Big Pun, I know I got super chat. You're wrong here. He says David saying Steelers lose a day for travel. Did he not? Well, the Bengals lose a day traveling back from Green Bay the previous Sunday. No, they don't. They leave that night. They get back Sunday night.
No, what?
They're still back on Monday, just like the Steelers.
I think what Big Pun's missing here. The point is with the travel is this. Okay, so the teams all the teams played on Sunday, right? Yeah. Monday's teams is an off day.
You're not going to practice the day after a game.
Right, right. So everybody's off. So that meant then that the Steelers and Bengals each practiced on Tuesday. The league mandates to the Steelers that they have to travel into Cincinnati on Wednesday.
Correct.
So that means the most the Steelers could do on Wednesday was a walkthrough before travel.
Yes.
While Cincinnati got to have a full practice. So Cincinnati had 2 full practices prior to the game. Steelers get 1 and a walkthrough.
Well, and not only that, this is what the teams get to decide. The teams that are at home, they get to decide which advantage is going to be better for their team. And that is, do you get 2 practices where the other team only gets 1? Or do you not practice on Tuesday and just do a walkthrough and stuff as well and get an extra day of rest?
Yes.
So you either get an extra day of rest or an extra day of practice, whichever one you choose. So that's,
That's
travel.
why we see those. That's why we see all of those records being so heavily in favor of the home teams.
Yeah, because what happens when they play on Sunday? Well, guess what? The teams that travel, they go, they do a walkthrough, and then they travel. The teams that don't travel, what do? They go to a walkthrough, and then usually they go to a team hotel the night before. It's not really. There's whether you are home or away, you're not actually taking away practice time like you are on a Thursday.
You're not taking. I wouldn't even call it practice time. I call it prep time.
Yeah.
The Steelers lost technically a half a day of prep time. Like, you're not going to do a full practice on the same day you travel.
Yeah.
So
you can't.
That.
Yeah. So to think, it really doesn't. It. I mean, you take
big pun. Big pun. You're just totally missing the points here.
You're missing the point. Well, but he's probably trolling again, like he did. You know what's great? I now have the ability to.
He's on my list.
Ban people again now that we're back on StreamYard.
Yeah. Well, big pun was on. Remember that long time ago we had that list
when we had issues there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's. Yeah. Well, I get it. It is not a final excuse, but the fact that when you can then take what we're talking about and show the difference across the league in that home versus away on Thursday nights, it's crazy.
Yeah. I'll still get back to how the Steelers were playing man at the end. I'll get to that back to that eventually. But I am going to bring up K Mike, $2 into the tip jar. Thank you very much, K Mike. Is Darius Slay Jr. injured? No, he's old. He's old because I seriously, I asked Alan Saunders this. I asked Alan Saunders this about problems with the Steelers secondary and everything, and I'm like, could part of it be that the Steelers have a 35-year-old cornerback and another cornerback who's turning 31 on Friday, mind you, this coming Friday, and they're playing 4 days after their last game, and they're trying to keep up with a 25 and 26-year-old wide receiver? Could that be a factor? He's like, heck yeah. Yeah. The Steelers defense being old and having to recover on a short week doesn't help. I mean, I'm sorry. A 35-year-old does not recover the same way as a 25-year-old.
It's not an excuse. It is not why
it's
the
not
Steelers
excuse,
lost
it's just
that
reality.
game. It was it's a factor.
Yeah.
Okay? Not saying that that's the reason why the Steelers. No. But it plays a role in the big picture. Yeah,
it does.
It's a piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, and it's funny because I will say, because outside Steeler fans said, just get rid of Thursday night football, have doubleheaders every Monday. You know what?
I agree.
They make so much money on Thursday night football, so they're not going to get rid of it.
I know.
Could they add another bye week and another week to the season, which is going to make more money and everything else that would put the Super Bowl and President's Day weekends, and then you get the day off, the school the next day for kids and all that other stuff? Could they do that? Yes. Will they do that? I don't think so, because I want them to add an extra bye and try to move bye weeks as much as you can to have it be before a team plays on Thursday. But this is good for the NFL. This is good for the NFL because do you want to know what? Rich, Eagles, Giants on a regular, just primetime game. Are you going to really care much to watch about that one? Probably not, because the Eagles are going to be stomping on them.
You mean if it was played at 1:00 on Sunday when God intended football to be played?
Exactly. I'm probably not going to care that much.
Yeah, probably
But by putting the Eagles on the road in New York and them starting to get it stomped on themselves, I turned the game on. I did. I wouldn't have watched that game any other time. And if the Eagles were trouncing them, I wouldn't have turned it on either. But when that underdog has all of a sudden starts doing something you didn't expect because Thursday night football is a big wild card.
And who won that game? The home team or the road team?
That would be the home team. Rich, seriously, the only road games won on Thursday night so far this year are by the one division that actually has a losing record at home and a winning record on the road on Thursday nights.
Yep, you're right.
Which is the NFC West.
That's crazy.
Seattle won in Arizona, and San Francisco won in LA. That's been it. So I'm not making excuses because guess what? The Steelers were a better team. They lost by 2 friggin' points. You needed to find a way to not lose by 2 friggin' points.
Yep.
So they needed to win the game. They needed to overcome. They were this close to doing it. It's not like they had no chance. They had a great chance. Okay. But instead, they decide to play, the first play of the last drive, they play a zone, but Joey Porter's playing a different zone than what the other guys are playing. KT explained that.
No,
on the first play. On the second play.
On the second play.
The one that Chase was wide open.
Yeah.
They were playing man.
They
ran one simple motion, and they had no idea who people had anymore. And they let the best player go unguarded.
Yeah, because what the Steelers were trying to do was disguise their man coverage and try to make it look like zone.
They disguised it so well that they couldn't even tell what they were doing.
Exactly.
They
overthought
it. They overdid. So you're like, the more we throw at Joe Flacco, the more he'll get confused. Actually, Coach, Joe Flacco wasn't trying to do much anyway. He didn't have a big repertoire of stuff. All you had to do was
he threw the same 2 or 3 passes to Chase 23 times and completed 16 of them.
And I put this in our staff Slack channel for SCN. I don't know if you saw that there, Rich, but it was every single Jamar Chase, not target, every single pass play.
Every single pass
Dude should have been targeted more than what he was.
Yeah, he could have gotten up close to 30 because he had plenty of plays. He went elsewhere. He was wide open.
Yeah.
It seems like and didn't Chase bring it up after the game? It seemed like every time they lined up, they knew what the Steelers were going to do and were doing exactly what they needed to do to beat.
And I think I know what he meant. I'm taking a shot. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm saying I have a theory of what he meant. That's probably the better way to say it.
Mm-hmm.
I think he meant that they were going to play back off of him, that they weren't going to come up and press him, that they were going to play off. And that's what they did. I think that's what he's talking about.
Basically, he was reading them and basically saying to himself, well, if they're going to do this, then I'm going to be open to do this. And that's what he would do. And Joe Flacco getting the ball and made us look like fools.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was defensively, it was kind of a perfect storm. It's very interesting because I'm just making sure I went back and covered what I did about zone. So yeah. So for everyone that thinks that it was a simple answer for what the Steelers, it actually wasn't the typical answer of stuff that was going on. Now, if you say the Steelers should have run the ball more throughout the game, I feel like, why are you taking such a deep shot right after the Bengals score when you were just running it down their throats? Yeah. Because why have the Steelers not taken as many deep shots? Is because they haven't had to because of the risk of turning it over. And then what do? They take a deep shot and turn it over. I would have much rather them just run. There was the miscommunication on the flea flicker that would have, my goodness, who knows how long he would have ran for on that play after he turned around and flipped it back.
I know. He turned he stopped in a wide open hole to throw it back on the flea flicker when the flea flicker wasn't supposed to be there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know. It was little frustrations that I was getting on the offense versus the big frustration. It was the little frustrations for a couple missed things on offense versus the huge frustrations on defense where it was like, what in the world are you guys doing?
Yeah. And Coach Sean brought up a good point about Green Bay. He's like, they don't give up big plays. They don't give up chunk plays. You have to methodically drive the ball down the field against them, and you can't make a mistake as you go. You can't drop passes. You can't have penalties. You can't get too cute and have downs that just aren't going to help you. You've got to. They're not going to be the type of defense that you're going to have a 3-play 80-yard drive. And if you do, it's the exception, not the rule, because they're the best, one of the best in the NFL and not allowing those kind of things. So to finish up stuff with this game, the defense is a problem. But as I tried to say before the game, even though I picked the Steelers to win because I believe they're the better team. I still believe they're the better team. But it was a tough situation for them that I wasn't going to make any sweeping declaration of this is a problem with this team because they lost this game. This is a problem that is going to be a big issue. The thing is, these problems this week are either better or still there. If they're still there, then the Thursday night explanation is gone. You just need to not suck
on defense.
But if you're able to fix those, or when the season's over, are we going to look back at that Thursday night game and say, is that what the Steelers were, or was that the exception? Kind of a lot like the Browns game last year. You started to think it was the exception, and then the Steelers stunk it up by losing the last 4 games anyway. So there's part of it with that. So that's why the title of this show was the response in week 8 will likely define their season. Are the Steelers the team that is going to drop games to a struggling Cincinnati Bengals team that doesn't have Joe Burrow? Or are they going to be a team that comes out and finds ways to win against good teams?
We're going to find out.
Yeah, I'm going to say, I'm not asking you for it to answer that.
Yeah.
Because that's what we're looking for.
That game got done, and I was frustrated the Steelers lost. And to me, I was like, wow, that game was so different from what I expected. I was like you, even though I was wanting to pick the Steelers win because they were coming in hot.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't, I said the game would probably end up being a real close one. It was a real close one. And when the game got over, the first thing I'm sitting there thinking is, wow, there was some really good things to take out of this game.
Yeah.
Man, I wish the defense could have just been marginally better and we win.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't have to be great. They just had to be a little bit better than they were. Which
if
was
the Steelers
really,
make it
really, really
14
bad.
to nothing instead of 10-0. That would have been a big difference there.
Yeah.
You know? Both. I mean, it's funny because people are like, the defense and secondary was so bad, and Coach Tomlin just wants to focus on, the offense turned it over twice and they couldn't stop the run. Well, I'll be honest with you. Not being able to stop the run actually was a bit of a problem.
It was a bit of a problem.
And they're like, but it was the secondary that really blew them up. Yeah. And part of it was because the Steelers couldn't stop the run.
Yep.
The Steelers made the decision. It kind of seemed like they're like, hey, this Bengals team can't run the ball. We're going to stay in nickel or dime the whole game, and we're going to stop the run with just 4 guys up front. And they didn't.
Yeah, they didn't.
But like what Coach Tomlin said, he's like, it's one thing if you're not having gap integrity, staying in your lane, gap integrity, all those things. And that's what breaks down with the run game. When you're popping 20 and 30-yard runs, that's multi-level issues on the run game.
Yep.
Not just what's up front. So I know because Brian Brown said up here, did I lose it? I know I just saw it. He said, are the right players playing? I don't know if he's talking about secondary or anything else. Whatever. One of the big questions was, why did Nick Herbig not play more snaps? I had a theory, and then Coach Tomlin said it today. I'm not saying I agree with it, but I think I knew what the reason was. And that was, if you're only playing 2 defensive linemen and 2 outside linebackers, and you're going to go with only 4 guys most of the time and not really ever play 5 very much, except in very, like third and short situations, stuff like that, then you've got to make sure that the guys that you have on those front 4 are all capable of stopping the run.
Yeah.
And they're like, but Herbig is so quick. He could have still got to the quarterback when he was throwing it so fast. Yeah, maybe he could have. Or they could have seen Nick Herbig out there and said, "Okay, we're going to run the ball."
Yeah.
Were they giving him the Mark Robinson treatment?
Well, it's one of those where the Steelers had to make a decision and have a game plan, and the decision was made, and the game plan was there. We can second guess it, but changing it wouldn't have necessarily made it the correct game plan.
Yeah.
It would have just been a different game plan that still sucked.
Yeah.
So
I think the problem is also how often are you going to see two wide receivers like that?
Well, somebody out there in the live chat, hurry up and say it. Hurry up and answer Dave's question before I do.
Mm-hmm.
Because
we say in the middle of November when you see him again, but
no.
No.
We could have.
Yeah.
We could have.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
If we were lining up DK Metcalf and George Pickens, we could have.
Yeah.
That's what everybody was excited when we got DK Metcalf, was because, hey, we now have those two top tier guys like the Bengals do.
Yeah.
But
that's not what they did. And I'm going to say it again. I don't know that George Pickens is half the player with the Steelers is what he's doing right now. I think he had a bit of a wake-up call. He's in a contract year. Maybe he would have played that well in a contract year for the Steelers. Maybe he wouldn't have. We will never know. I do know one thing.
He might have played very poorly for us because he'd have been upset that they gave DK this big contract.
Yeah, and because he wanted his and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So, yeah, I will tell you, we'll come back. We're still going to talk a little bit more about this game as we look forward to it. But first, we got to take a break. So if you're with us here live, we're not going anywhere. If you're with us on the audio side, stick around. We'll be right back.
Relax, don't worry, no rush, what's the hurry? Relax, don't worry, don't worry, relax. Relax, don't worry, no rush, what's the hurry? Relax, don't worry, don't worry, relax.
Yeah, we got to relax. Don't worry. Because to me, a lot of the stuff that we saw in the Steelers' last game, the question is, are we going to see it again on Sunday night? If we do, then you better hold on because it's going to get rough. Or was that one off? That's the question that's going to be answered this Sunday night at Acrisure Stadium on Sunday Night Football with two teams wearing gold helmets. That'll be interesting.
Yeah.
With everything. It's funny. They asked Coach Tomlin about the uniforms, and he was kind of like, uniforms? Really?
That's what
Are
you're
we wearing a different uniform? So, but yeah, I'm not saying that you shouldn't take anything from this game. You absolutely should. But I don't think this game defines what the Steelers are. And there was a lot of players that did not have the best game. I'll be honest with you. That right tackle of the Bengals, he did pretty good against TJ Watt. No, but they were treating TJ Watt like the Steelers did to Myles Garrett week 4. They were doing a lot of similar things. All right. I think the problem was a lot of the reason people were calling for Nick Herbig is because Alex Highsmith did not have a very good game on Thursday nights. The secondary did not have a very good game really much at all on Thursday night. So what are you going to do about it? Steelers, what are you going to do about it? Yeah.
Which is why, Dave, I will tell you, as you came back in playing our music, for now I'm going to relax. But if we see some similar, shall I say, styles of, some outcomes for certain players or styles of play, see it again on Sunday, I may not be so relaxed.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. And I think the Steelers have stuff to figure out. I think they have to seriously consider if Brandon Eccles is going to be a bigger part of the rotation in the secondary. Because he was like the only one of the corners that had a somewhat decent game.
That looked like they had a fire lit.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what the defense really seemed to be like.
Yeah.
There was the defense. Nobody had a fire lit.
It's almost like they heard about the the Bengals rush game was so bad, and then we don't really have to do as much, and we're just going to be able to stop it.
Yeah,
it just didn't seem.
They thought the Bengals
Yeah.
rush game was so bad it was Three Stooges or the Mark Sanchez butt fumble type of thing where they're just handed off and the running back runs into his own lineman and falls down.
Yeah,
And that's not what it was going to be.
the defense played like it was week 4.
Yeah.
I mean, and when I talk about those week 4 performances for people, when you look at it, think about the Colts last year. Think about some other years where the Steelers lost or won in week 3, and then week 4 they just go out. I mean, it was the Texans, I think, the year before, where the defense just looked. That might have been 2 years before. I don't know. Just kind of seemed uninspired, and that occasionally you get one of those. It doesn't mean it's right. It doesn't make you feel any better. But it really depends. It really means that you've got to turn around and do something better. Because look at that. The Steelers, the Browns didn't find the touchdown zone, but they were the Browns. Okay. I get that. You can, but still, that's what you want to do against a team that's not supposed to be as good. Okay. The Vikings didn't hardly do anything against the Steelers until Ramsey went out in the fourth quarter and they were backing off. Okay. I mean, yeah, it took a bunch of takeaways to keep the Patriots to only 14 points, but it still was. The defense was trending better from week 2. So many different things were trending in the right direction since week 2. And then it hiccuped back on Thursday night, which is what I was afraid of. I even said, I'm like, I don't think the Steelers are going to play as good as what they have been, but I think it'll still be enough to win. It just wasn't still enough to win. And it wasn't really the offense at all.
Correct. Yeah, I was more. That's the other thing that was weird about this game was that to me it was a flip flop. I thought that the issue may end up being that our offense came out and couldn't get to 20 points, and that maybe the Bengals could get to 20 points. Boy, was that wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, if you were to tell me that the Steelers offense was going to score 31 points against the Bengals, I would have said, okay, without Joe Burrow, I'll take the dub.
Yeah.
But no.
But, yeah.
Also, look at the first matchup against the Bengals last year. If you would have told me that the Bengals were going to score 36 against the Steelers defense, I would have said we're going to take the L.
Right.
But didn't they? So that's why they play the end. That's why these things, you never take anything for granted. You're going to have a game or two in there where things just don't go your way or people just aren't lining up. I mean, yeah, did the defense look bad? But to me, what looked the worst was we have no idea what anybody else is doing on this defense. That's the problem.
Yeah.
And that's something, whether you're old and slow or you're young and fast, that's something that can be fixed. But then you got to see if that's still good enough to cover the other problems. So.
Yeah, the other way I would describe the defense is from this past week was it really looked like a bunch of guys trying to make individual plays.
Yeah.
Instead of playing as a complete unit.
Yes. Yeah, I could see that.
It was like everybody was honed in on, oh, I'm doing my job on this play, and I hope everybody else does their job. It was there was nobody trying to help or pick up the slack or a guy missed a tackle. It wasn't like someone was there right to get on him. It seemed like we missed tackles left and right a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
It was not what I expected to see. Again, it didn't have to be great. It didn't even have to be good. All it had to be was good enough, and it wasn't.
Yeah. And I mean, think about it. What if something happens
Hey, bring up Jamie Carlo's comment there because I think he kind of summed it up for me a little more too. There, he said, "Playing on their heels instead of their toes."
I think that's the statement of what I think Jamar Chase was saying, that we knew what they were going to do.
Yeah,
That they played on their heels. They didn't, or on their toes. They didn't attack. All they did was react.
yeah. They didn't try to dictate or impose their will on the Bengals. What they were trying to do was not let the Bengals oppose their will on the Steelers, and in trying to just do it that way, didn't work.
Yeah. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. And I'm like, so sometimes you have to implement a different philosophy on the short week, things like that. Obviously, and like I said, you had the bye week the week before. Obviously, you're going to start preparing for two teams, not with the players, but with what your game plan is going to be. And then what happens when you go into that other week, after you've done all that game planning, they freaking trade a quarterback from one team to the other, the one you're going to say, which is just, so I get why Tomlin was upset with that, because it's like, man, we put in all this work and now it's everything that we could do to work ahead during the bye week is now gone. So, but you know what? That's what you're supposed to do. That's why they play the games. That's what you're paid for. So, but think about it. The Steelers weren't going to go 16-1, were they?
No.
So they dropped this one. Now guess what they have to do?
The question remains is, okay, what are they going to do this week? Whether they won or lost this game, that actually is the next question. Okay, that's great. It's done. Now what are we going to do?
Yeah, because now you've got a stretch of games. Your next 3 games are against 3 opponents that if the playoffs started today, they would all 3 be in the playoffs.
Playoffs?
But you also look at it. I mean, I got to go back and check those standings. That we got to do there. What some of these are. Because the Penguins game's over. I missed that. They won 5-1. I missed that it was over. Because if you come in here and you look at the standings, I'm trying to get NFL up here. My goodness, what's wrong? Okay. That the playoffs started now. In the NFC, it wouldn't be Minnesota, who they just played. But I mean, the Steelers they played Seattle, they lost to them. They beat New England, who's winning their division right now. So they've had games against teams that would currently, quote unquote, be in the playoffs if they started today. And they're 1-1 against them. So yeah, gotta do something else about that. So to me, that tells you the quality of the opponents that you have coming up. If they are at a point right now that they would make the playoffs if they started, that was my whole point about that. So you got some 3 quality games here. What the Steelers have to do now is drop in one that you feel like you should have won. Now you got to win one that people think that you wouldn't. That could even be this Sunday. Steelers are they's the underdogs, aren't they?
They like playing the underdog role.
I like the Steelers better in an underdog role. I feel better about it. So yeah. So they're like 3.5 point underdogs going on with everything. So it is what it is. Okay. We have another
Got a super chat.
Yep. Yeah. All right. So Dude Soccer 1995, $4.99 in the tip jar. Thank you so much. He says, thanks for all the hard work. The Scho Bro Show is like listening to my uncles. Thanks for all you do. Here we go, Steelers. That's what we say. This is the family show. This is just a couple brothers talking Steelers.
Dude Soccer, I'm sorry that you have uncles as dorky as the 2 of us.
Yes. And if 1995 stands for your birth year, then we definitely would are in that
with your
realm
uncles.
of where we would probably be your uncles. I don't know. For all I know, that might have been your graduation year. You never know what those are. So that was fun. I mean, that's another thing I brought up. People are like, well, Coach Tomlin drops all these games against terrible teams. So I'm like, well, let's see if he's done that a lot lately. So I looked up over the last 5 completed seasons. Said, how many games did the Steelers lose to teams that only won 6 games or less? Okay.
Yeah, I hope you're not asking me to guess because
No.
I don't even have a guess.
I'm trying to remember. I think the number was 6. And they were tied for 7th fewest.
Okay.
And then, of course, like, oh, forget 5-year stuff. He's been coaching all this time. I'm like, oh, and against teams that are 500 or worse, he's terrible. Okay, so let me look at that. Teams that won 8 games or less at the end of the season. It doesn't matter if they're below 500 when you play them. Just how did they end up? What kind of team were they when you looked at the season as a whole? They finished 500 or less, pretty much, because I'd say or less because of, back when there were 16 games. So 8 wins or less in the season. Going back to 2007, the Steelers have 43 losses. That's 4th fewest.
Yeah.
So sometimes we get so caught up in our team and, how can we drop a game like this? Do you want to know what? Everybody drops games
That's right.
like this. This is what makes it fun to watch.
You should have heard Philly fans the week before complain. Oh,
how could you lose to the Giants?
Lost to the Giants. And, it was. I mean, it was. It was rough. They couldn't believe that they lost to the Giants.
Yeah. Well, here you go. But you know what? John Walter's right. Trick question. Steelers should win all their games. That's why Jeff picks them to win every week.
That's right.
So, yep. Rich,
Dave,
let's keep the focus going forward now. Okay. If the Steelers now, because here's the thing. Before I do that, if T. Higgins slides down, all that stuff, the Bengals go to kick a short field goal. What happens if they pull a week 1? What year was that? Was that 21 or 22? What year did the Steelers open up in Cincy and won in overtime? 19 maybe?
I don't
No, it wasn't 19. They lost in 19. I can't remember exactly what year it is. I should have looked it up. Remember in overtime, the Bengals had like a 20-some yard field goal, and they missed it because of a bad snap. Well, the long snapper was hurt, but they had a bad snap, missed the short field goal. That allowed the Steelers to win the game. What if they miss that field goal? Or even if the Steelers don't make the play and the Bengals just bungle it, they miss the field goal. Nothing good that Steelers did. Are we saying the same things about the defense?
Yes.
I think we are.
I think we are.
But I don't think fans are frustrated about it to the same degree.
Yeah.
Yeah, people are saying that was 21. Thank you, 21.
Yeah.
Ben's last season, yeah. So that's the thing. If you find a way to eke it out somehow, even if the defense didn't play one snap better than what they did, you're like, all right, it's a problem. You got to fix it. But you're also going into Sunday Night Football feeling a little bit. I'll be honest with you. I am happy that the Green Bay Packers completed that comeback and didn't drop the game to the Cardinals like they should have. Because you know what? If anything, if they drop that game to the Cardinals, maybe they have a bit of a wake-up call.
Yeah. Hey, do me a favor, pull up Frosty's comment there.
Every team?
Yes. Yeah. So he says every team's fans do this kind of griping. I listened to Ravens podcast lately. They want everyone fired. Yeah. Actually, I'll go further than that. So my one of my good friends that I fish with a lot grew up in the Baltimore area, lived most of his life, a good portion of his life growing up in Ellicott City. It's my friend Don. Still wishing Don well. Don, while we were on vacation this summer, had a stroke he's been recovering from. But I've been able to get Don out on my boat fishing a couple times. He's recovering great. But Don of late has huge Ravens fan, and the sky is falling.
Yeah.
For he's just blow it up.
I don't know about having a Ravens fan on my boat, man. I'm afraid it'd sink. Like the Ravens are. No, sorry.
No. No.
I
It's
couldn't help myself. There we go.
no. It would be different if they were a Bengals or Browns fan, because Kyle would agree. You just can't get that Jag smell of Ohio off the boat then.
Off the boat then. But yeah, they should. I mean, 1-5, they should be. This is a big game for them this week, but I'm not even worried about that because right now the Steelers need to focus on just the Steelers.
Yep.
So
That's right.
and the Steelers are good at home in primetime. And they're I'll be honest with you, the Packers crushed. I mean, they took care of business against the Lions in week 1. But this is also a Packers team that lost to the Browns. This is also a Packers team that almost lost the Cardinals. This is a Packers team that almost let the
And by the
Bengals
way,
come back in
that
Joe
was-
Burrow's first start.
And that was a Cardinals team without Kyler Murray,
Yeah.
without James Conner.
Yeah.
With yeah. So put it this way, it's there. It's it's there for this weekend for the Steelers to go get. What I want to see is both the offense and the defense look like they're trying to go get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not that they're trying to keep New England, Green Bay from getting it. I would just want to no. We're not worried about them going to get. We're going to go take it. We're going to go take this W.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's the kind of attitude and play we see from the Steelers, we'll be in good shape.
Yeah. So it's not like the Packers are this unbeatable team. They're not. They're I don't really know that there's really any superstar unbeatable team right now. I mean, some people might feel really good about Kansas City, how they bounced back and what they did to the Raiders or things like that. I mean, the Lions looked pretty good on Monday night. Before that, the Bucs looked really good. It just goes to show that there are ins and outs of the NFL season. And anybody can really beat anybody. That's why they have the phrase on any given Sunday, I guess, or Thursday night. So the Steelers, they've got to take care of business. They've got to stay singularly focused. The offense, what does the offense need to do? They need to keep doing what they're doing.
Yeah, you were talking about the Packers make teams be methodical up and down the field. Man,
Sounds like Aaron Rodgers to me.
I'm going to say that sounds like
Aaron
how-
Rodgers, Jalen Warren, all these tight ends. There you go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
And I also believe that if the Steelers are focused on primarily stopping the run, and that's their biggest concern, that they're better off doing it that way. Stopping the run against the Bengals, I'm sorry, that was probably priority number 3.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, I went out of 2 things. You know what I mean? Is the way it is what it felt like in that game. That they're like, oh, we'll just stop the run with 4 guys up front, and they just won't get going. And we'll win those battles and those kind of things. And it didn't happen. Now you've got Josh Jacobs. Now you've got their attention. And guess what? The Steelers are going to be all about stopping the run. And to me, that tells me secondary, you're up.
Yep.
Show us what you're made of.
Yep.
Pooper, get off the pot. What other cliche do you want to throw out there? I don't even know.
Want to be the man.
Cannot play with him.
man. Oh,
Cannot win with him. Cannot coach with him. Can't do it.
I don't know. That's the only one I had. So, sorry. But I mean, yeah. So to me, this is about the secondary had everything. Had everything assisting them to stop the pass last game. They're not going to have it this game. Go get it done.
yeah.
Show us what you're made of. So,
Yeah. Nothing special for you. Just go do your job.
and I mean, I thought coming into this season, this is what's so disappointing. Coming into this season, I thought, you know what, this offense, it might take them a while to get going. The offensive line, I don't know about them. I've been very happy with them lately. I just thought I'd say that. But going into the season, most Steelers fans were like, I don't know about this. Rich was extra confident in the offensive line. Most people weren't. And now, and I'm like, so that offense, they might need this defense to carry them for a while with the season. That has not been the case.
Oh, speaking of the offensive line, I should get my new jersey tomorrow.
Uh-oh.
Yes, I will now no longer have to sport the Pouncey jersey to games. I have a new jersey, should arrive tomorrow in time for me when I go to the Indy game next week. And that would be number 76.
Really?
Yep.
You going with the old Fontano?
Gotta go with Fontano. It's not as good as
76 jersey. It's just blue and gold.
Yeah, I know. Just Fontano, you gotta love that because you gotta love saying that last name. The only name the Steelers ever had that was probably any more fun than that to say was Fuamatu Ma'afala.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so, yep, New Jersey coming. So,
hey, and that's something to say, just so you all know. So Rich is going to be there at the game against the Colts, and so am I.
Oh,
We'll be sitting together.
Yeah. Kyle got to do the knee-jerk reaction article that week.
We got to figure out something going on there.
I got
that's the plan.
pay him.
Also, I need to let people know that I actually still have a game available, tickets-wise. I have the Bengals game available. If you want to see Revenge of the Bengals in Section 122, let me know.
Hey, wait. Looks like Matt Cat said he's going to be at that game, too.
Okay. So,
oh, man. You
really,
me and Matt Cat at the game?
Oh, yeah. Anyone, if you're going to be at that game, you got to let us know. We got to try to get together someplace, somehow. You can't miss me. I'm enormous.
Who are you bringing?
Even if you try to miss me, you can't.
Who's coming to the game with you?
My spouse.
Ironically, my spouse is coming with me as well.
I don't want to put the cart before the horse, but my spouse has a perfect record. That's what we're going to bust out to try to beat these Colts. That's what we're busting out to try to beat these Colts.
So if they lose, I get to. It's Janice's fault.
Yes,
that's hilarious.
So yes.
All right, let's get the scores. I'm ready.
I mean, my goodness, we might even have to do a Scho Bro Show.
Scho Bro Show.
Yeah. So we'll see how all that goes. That's once again. We'll get to talk about that more next week. This week, it is about how this is going to define their season. Are the Steelers, if two is a pattern, and I'm really what I'm talking about is being able to getting torched in the passing game. Two is a pattern. If it happens again this week, it really had nothing to do with Thursday Night Football. It's who you were.
Yeah, and it's something to be seriously worried about.
Yeah, I'm saying I'm not ready to throw that in there yet because the Steelers are an old defense and old guys weren't ready to play. Still, we'll see really if all that doesn't matter and it's just that they're not good. And that's what some people are like. So are you just saying that the players aren't very good? Players aren't getting it done and the players aren't very good. And I also want to see hopefully not a game plan that they have 17 million defenses in there. No one's even sure which one they're in. Okay? So...
did you read that?
I'm not surprised. This is news to me. I'm going to bring it up till we get to it. I'm not surprised because he actually retweeted it and liked some of my replies to stuff in there too. But Ray Claudio Pino, am I right? I don't know. Sorry, Ray. We'll say Ray. Ray, I'm sorry if I screwed up your name. That's what I did. Said featured your tweet on his Scouts Eye show this morning, Dave. Is that his SN or sorry? Well, it's not SCN. We're SCN. SNR. Is that one of his? I know he's on SNR. I don't know if that show's on SNR, Steelers Nation Radio. But yeah, Matt Williamson's been actually, liking my stuff recently. So thanks for letting me know that, Ray. Now I got to go back and find it. So, yes. Okay. Makes me think about the episode of Big Bang Theory.
It says it was on DK
by Patton Oswalt's brother.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, that was on his DK, the one he does for DK Pittsburgh Sports. Okay. Because I know that he does shows all over the place, so that's why I wasn't sure by the name of the show which one was where. But hey, Ray, thanks for letting us know that. Got to get on with it now.
Yep.
Rich, do the Steelers respond properly in week 8? Because honestly, they could respond and it'd still be an L. But getting the W is going to be an even bigger response. Okay?
I know.
What do you hey, now everyone else remember, don't enter your scores in there yet until Rich does his. I'll ask for him and we'll bring them all up. So what do you got, Rich?
Hold on. Wait a minute. Oh, because honestly, you could flip
Your
a
coin
on
flip?
this. Yeah, because that's really where I'm at. That's where I'm at. And do I pick the Steelers to win or the Steelers not to win? Phew. Oh man, I'm telling you, this one's tough. But I'm gonna go ahead and say this: could the Steelers win this game? Yes. What I saw from the defense last weekend was so disappointing, though, that I'm back to feeling like you got to show me something kind of deal. So I'm actually going to take the Steelers to lose this game by a score of 24-23.
All right, so you're going 24-23. I'll be honest with you. Once again, sometimes these games come down to who's got the ball last.
Yep.
And everything. And you know what sucked about this with the Steelers? You let the Bengals have the ball last at the end of the half, get it to come out into the second half, and finish with it to end the game.
Yeah.
With 7 seconds left. Honestly, that was a strategy I thought was weird. 7 seconds left. Why you give a touchback? Kick it short and make them run down the clock. So anyway, that's
except for the fact we were close to bringing a couple of those.
Yeah. Yep. So, yeah. But if he springs it long enough to get in field goal range, the clock's probably run out. But anyway.
Correct.
All right. So here we go. Afton forward. She's ready. 28-26. This is nice because I shouldn't be skipping around, and I can actually see everybody's full name before I bring them up. Matt Catt has 29-24. Those are both Steelers. If you don't say a name, then we know it's the Steelers. So Afton was 28-26 again, and Matt Catt was 29-24. Kathy Ford has 34-31 Steelers. Another cardiac. I like that. This is what wouldn't shock me either from Brian Brown. 44-42 Steelers. Okay. Frosty the Bear has 27-23 Steelers. Outside Steeler fan has 33-31 Good Guys with Boswell hitting it at the end. Man, a little bit closer.
Notice that score is the exact same score as last week.
Yes.
Because
also that's what Joseph Donovan has too. 33-31 Steelers. Okay. Gavin Anthony has Packers 30-27. Matthew Bunk has 24-17 Steelers. We built this city has 23-21 Steelers. Pickens, you big dummy, has 38-13 Steelers. John Walter has 31-27 Steelers. Brent Howe has 24-20 Steelers. For those of you that are wondering, I just got to say, I don't give my prediction until the Steelers preview because I'm in a competition with Jeff and Brian there, and I can't give them an advantage. Valley Ford has 24-23 Steelers.
Going with my score, just flip-flopping who gets the 1 point.
Yeah, I mean, it really could. This is one of those that could come down. This Thursday night was the first time the Steelers have lost the turnover battle this season. They've been even, but they lost it. It's hard to win games when you lose the turnover battle. And they were -2 and still almost won that game. That's what's crazy. If they're only -1, they win. Yeah,
probably.
Meaning they get a takeaway or have one less.
Yep.
That's what's crazy. So they've slowed down. I don't see any more coming in. I'll keep my eye out. Make sure you're checking out SteelCurtainNetwork.com for all your Steelers needs. The website's starting to take off. Tell your friends about it. Say, hey, check this out here. This website. Come in and comment on stuff. We have a lot of good discussions going on there. Matt Catt's there. He's probably, I'm calling it right now because Matt Catt was here and said, about me and gave us one of the early scores. Matt Catt's probably our one of, if not our very most loyal commenter. So it's a whole lot of fun doing that there. But make sure you check out our podcasts. I know there was not a Good Day Steelers Nation with Marky D. He still hasn't gone home from Ireland. He's still vacationing with everything there. I don't even think we're going to have one next week. But then when he gets back to Australia, his show will be back. We should get a Steel City Insider this week. I'm just not sure which day it is in order to run. Other than that, we should have the normal lineup for you on a normal week where it's a whole lot of fun. And then Kathy even said this, and check out Dave's second book in the Ghost Warrior series. And if you haven't checked out the first one, you can check it out too. All you got to do is look up David Schofield, Ghost Warriors on Amazon. It's available. If you've got, what's it called? The subscription thing for Kindle. Yeah, it's free there if you want it. So yeah, I'm not worried about money. I just want people to read it. That's what I want more than anything. So thank you, Kathy. Rich, what do you have? Wait, we got one more.
Yep.
Jamie Carlo, 24-27 Steelers. Now, no, we're not going to be there this week.
Not this week, Jamie.
Not this week. Yeah.
The next week.
Oh, yeah. Kindle Unlimited. That's right. Thank you. Yeah. So.
All right. My turn now?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let me say, I hate Thursday night games.
Yeah. I don't like primetime games. I don't want a late post-game show.
I know, and it's going to now make it late Sunday night going into Monday next week.
Steeler Chick 46, 21-17 Steelers.
But I still prefer that over what I had to do last week, which was to get I actually fell asleep at the end of your guys' the podcast. I fell asleep on the couch, and Renee woke me up. I think it was like almost 2:00, and I'm stumbling into bed, which was ridiculous to then have to get up and go to work. But at least this week we're back to playing on Sunday. Unfortunately, it's just not at 1:00 when God intended football to be played. But, I look forward to it. I hope that Acrisure Stadium is rocking, because we need it. We need to get back at home. We need to get those fans into the game, get loud, get the Steelers juiced up. Let's get them out there and let's take care of business. Okay? Keyword there being take. Take control of this game, Steelers. Go get the win. Don't wait for it to fall into your lap. Go get it. It's what we're looking for as fans. I know that if that's the case on Thursday. See there, I'm already thinking Thursday night football again. Sunday night. Been waiting all day for Sunday night. Sunday night, that if I start seeing that out of the Steelers, I will again be very quite loud and vocal and saying that's what I'm talking about, yelling at my television while I'm writing my knee-jerk reaction article. Where else would you rather be than doing something like that on a Sunday night? I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. Can't wait.
Relax.